one of the first This Is Your Life kind of books we did from a husband whose wife had dementia. And it was a real love story, extremely powerful, especially if people haven't heard their loved ones' voices for decades. And during the 70s and 80s, when phone calls were very, very expensive, it was quite common for people to send cassette tapes around the world when they were talking to each other instead of
Welcome, Eva, to the Carecast. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Eva, you are the owner of Henley Scan. What is Henley Scan?
We make your memories more accessible and possibly more palatable as well if it's photographs that have faded and things. But we take lots of old media, be it in audio or footage or videos, and we convert it and we make sure you can watch it in 2025. So a lot of the stuff that people have laying around, like the old VHSs and camcorder tapes and cine films and slides, and the list is nearly endless.
Do you integrate stills into that as well? Because obviously everyone's got these photographs that are probably becoming more and more exposed, and eventually in about 100 years you won't be able to see anything. But do you scan still photographs?
We scan a lot of photographs, a lot of images. It's the legacy project, because the photo albums from the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, I'm among the babies in that era, and on the older side. And the thing is, like, there are so few photographs from my childhood. I don't really want to share with my brother and sister. I want us all to have them. And that's how the business started, really, because my brother wanted the photographs of him. And I said, but they're my memories as well, even though I'm not in there. And we started scanning for ourselves. And then we started scanning for friends and family. And then it grew. And then my husband said, I think you've got a business there, darling. And that's how it all started about 8 years ago.
Really? How many clients might you sort of help in a week or whatnot?
And so we are running somewhere between 60 and 100 customers average a month.
Yep.
And some of them are large, some of them are small. Our smallest projects are £25. So, and that will be typically just one of something. But we also do what I call the big projects, when people literally just come with the whole box of, everything. Happens quite frequently when someone's unfortunately has died and they have found boxes, and there might be several generations that wants bits of everything, or they haven't got a clue what's there. And the old cine films, which are my favorite media, I love them. And they'll often without sound, which makes them slightly more romantic, because the video films from when my kids were little, I'm quite often shouting whatever in the background, careful, don't do this, where the non-audio cine films are slightly more, nicer.
Yeah. Really focuses you on what's going on vision.
Yeah. And then they'll say, we went to such and such beach in Cornwall every year. And, and then they will say, and there's Auntie, and she always wore purple, or, it's just lovely. It's just so lovely.
Well, if I came to you, say, with 100 photographs for you to scan and whatnot, how do you then give me back those photos in a way that I could, say, label them or whatever? Do you put them online so that then I can access them online, or do you print them, or both?
So we give memory sticks. We can give links as well. And the reason we don't give links automatically is that we have given links and people have then lost them, because obviously they're on cloud. So unless we charge a price every month to sort of keep them there, which if you look at the small print of all cloud providers, there is never 100%. So I didn't want to get involved with that, because I never wanted to look you in the eye, Luca, to say, actually, there was a 0.03% chance that these were going to disappear. Yeah. So we give a memory stick, tell everyone to really back them up. We can help them with a link, but it's then a temporary link. And each photo, so if you come with 100 photographs, each photo will have scanned high resolution. Then we have in post scanning done individually, basic color and light correction on them all. We can, for further cost, obviously do much more with them in Photoshop and things like that in Lightroom. And then you get each image normally as a JPEG. So there'll be 100 images on your memory stick. And you can then put them on the computers. You can put them on your phone, iPads, watch them on the telly. A lot of people do slideshows out of them and things like that.
How many different formats of video and
So
exists. I know there's
loads.
high
We in-house do
yeah.
VHS, which is the bigger video. Then there's the VHS-Cs, which were the camcorder tapes you put inside the video, bigger video tapes. Then there's high eights and a mini DV, and then you've got the micro disc, you've got the CDs, you've got the DVDs. They're all beta and all those things as well, which we used to do when we had a shop. But now when we're home based in the studio again, we have streamlined what machines we have, because like beta tapes, maybe we saw 2-3 times a year. But we do know where to send them off, and we can help people to courier them, or we can project manage it all. So, and then you've got the cine films, which comes in 8mm, 9.5 or 16, and with or without audio on the 8. You've got negatives, which goes all the way back to the glass negatives about 100 odd years ago, to the 35 mils, which is what most of us, or our parents, used. And then you've got the slides, which are part of that. Images obviously comes in any size. The older photographs, generally the black and white, have not faded as much. They've got silvering if they're from a certain part of a certain era, because there was chemicals that made them silver. Where the 60s photos from when I was a little girl, and they're square, they've gone quite orange over time. And then we had a period in the 80s with the rounded corners, and it's like photographs have changed quite a lot. And then they've all gone digital, and nowadays, if anything, we have a digital overload, haven't we?
Massively. Have you got any idea off the top of your head how many more photographs are being taken every year now compared to pre-digital time, 1980
So
or something like that? Is it like
I
a trillion times more or something?
I think it's something like in X minutes we take more photographs than that was taken in a whole year before or something. I mean, it is enormous.
It's mad.
Yeah. I used to have it because it was one of the things I used to say when I did a lot of networking, and I used to say, this is a fact. But I don't know how many photos you've got on your phone, but if I pick up my phone at the moment, there's probably 40,000 on there. And there is a real thing about clearing out what we've got on our phones as well, because if I took, I don't know, 40 photos in one day on the regatta in Henley last week, then realistically, I probably only need 10. So let's bin the others, which is a green thing to do as well, because everything that is up in the cloud
Uses it.
is electricity.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tell me about some of the more interesting projects that you will have worked on. Maybe someone will have asked you, this is your life video, that sort of thing, or something a bit different.
Over COVID, we did some really interesting ones because people were looking for interesting presents, and we did videos where people sent in photographs from their partner's childhood, and then we did like a "This Is Your Life," and then people then also maybe sent videos from people saying happy birthday or playing instruments or doing a dance. And we caught, there was some footballers that are quite famous that they're sort of caught on. There's some of their wives, and once we had done it for one, we then did a few more. So that was really fun. I can't say any more than that.
No.
And we do wallpapers, which they are coming on, and I love doing them. I really do love making them. So we've got one, like a little statement wall of 5 generations of me and my husband. But we've also got in our downstairs toilet lots of old Henley photos wallpaper. And we just did for Leander, the rowing club, last year, of all the Olympic 2024 Paris front pages to go in their crew room of all the medals and the people who had rowed. We've done one for a rugby player into his den, his career. We did for the town hall in Henley with Henley photographs, old and new. And it's just, I love making those because I just feel that, I don't want to sort of say anything negative, but people who tend to have lots and lots of photographs on a wall, you hit them, or the stairways and things, but a wallpaper is just nice. And then one of the first This Is Your Life kind of books we did from a husband whose wife had dementia, and it was a real love story. And he was an author anyway, so he was very good at what to write in and things. And we printed the book with wipeable cover and thicker plastic pages, so things could be spilt on it. But for me, it's just knowing that when they had a clear moment, the staff that was around her, because she was in a home by that stage, could actually tell her and talk to her. And it's also reminding, which I don't need to tell you, that all the people we have around us that are growing older, they've all been young and beautiful and had some sort of passion. And many of the generation at the moment were obviously involved in the war effort of some sort.
What advice, Eva, would you give to someone looking to preserve family memories, but not really that sure where to?
So believe it or not, DVDs and CDs are the worst media to keep. So many of them are beyond their date at the moment. So the ones that we had with photographs from the shops on the high street, they had like a lifespan of maybe 10 years. We were way past that. I mean, if you had a
And if the DVD with photos or videos on have been kept in its box, never touched, when you get given that item to download the photos, there could be problems.
There could be, because effectively inside a photo CD, it's ink. It is ink, so the ink can actually deteriorate inside the disc.
Yep.
And we see discs that look perfect and we struggle to get into them. And then we have others that, like, you think we're never going to look at the scratches and it's fine. And on a disc, there's a master file. And if the master file has got corrupted, you can't get into it. Where if you've got a cinefilm or even a video tape that there is a bit broken or a bit faded or 3 seconds that are not very good, we can cut that away and just put some tape and still get it going. But I can't get into DVD if I can't get into it. So the Photo Managers Organization, which is a worldwide organization mainly based in America, they believe 20% of our shiny discs are nowadays deteriorated, which no one really believes, because we're all sold that they're indestructible, and they are. They're like an indestructible treasure chest that will never show us what they've got inside.
Tell us, what does the future hold for Henley Scan? What sort of projects do you have come down the pipeline? And do you ever work with newspaper? The newspaper companies have all been kind of centralized now, but there must be so many millions of photos that kind of never see the light of day.
So there is a big archiving situation, which is really not our kind of thing. We're never going to be cost effective on really big projects.
Yep.
Because we manually scan everything. We're much more about the quality than just let's get through this, because probably 90% of our customers are personal. So why do people do it? Because they want to share it. Everyone wants a copy of it. Or if there is a flooding or there is a fire, then I still want to be able to access them and then not have lost it all. If the worst happens, then you don't want just a record of it. You actually want the best record of it.
Absolutely.
So, we're never going to be the cheapest in the country, and it's not what we're about, but we do treat every customer as an individual. We have very good Google reviews. We have a lot of reviews. We get lovely emails, and customers comes back, which, obviously, if they've done all their videos, they've done all the videos, but they might come back and say, I recommended you, or we found this photograph that has been faded. So we're doing more and more photo restoration. And with AI, it's getting easier. And someone says to me, that will take your job. And you think, no, it won't. It'll just make it easier for us to do bigger jobs for customers. We also sometimes have to take people away from photographs, which we think is quite funny, but, each to their own. And, it might be an old photograph where the person is not part of the family anymore, etc., etc. And I'm not talking deceased, I'm talking divorces or ex-boyfriends, girlfriends. And we do a fair bit of that, but we never really know. So we start every first of the month on a new month and on zero as such, if that makes sense. It's not like we have people who come in all the time, and we never know. We've just done an amazing project with a gentleman whose mother was in the French resistance, and she had managed to send letters from a French prison, and then she ended up in Germany for a couple of years, and then she was rescued by the Americans and ended up in Sweden, which is my home country. And there was letters that were written on just about anything she'd managed to get hold of, cloth, greaseproof paper, to sort of tell people at home that she still was around. And that was a very emotional project, and it was all in French, and I don't speak a word French, but I could feel how important that project was, and that has been created a book that's now being printed in many copies to all the siblings and grandchildren and all those kind of things. And we've also done another relatively big project recently, a family who owns a house down in Devon that they've had for generations. And there was a lot of photographs from the old village, and there's a lot of photographs of the families. And they've done like a little bit of a legacy project on the house and how they've all just been keepers of the house at different places in the world. No, not places, times. I get quite involved with each project, and then I sort of send it off to get printed. And we don't just print photo books, they are properly book bound. It's the people that our old queen used. So again, premium books, because my time to do them and then the print costs, I'd like to see books that will last forever and aren't just glued. And Graham is the techie, my husband, so he does a lot of the techie stuff. He's amazing at mending stuff. There is always tapes that are broken. And then we do the audio side, the reel to reel and the audio cassettes, which sometimes can be extremely powerful, especially if people haven't heard their loved ones' voices for decades. And during the 70s and 80s, when phone calls were very, very expensive, it was quite common for people to send cassette tapes around the world when they were talking to each other instead of And the videotapes and the camcorder tapes are definitely a staple, and they are going. I mean, like, there's no major rush with them, but if they're still around in 10 years' time, some of them will probably have started deteriorating. We can see at the beginning of the tapes, if the air's got to them, they sometimes aren't as good quality. We've done some projects for insurance companies where there has been fire, and the fire hasn't always damaged the photographs, but the water has from the fire people. And then it's a case of drying and seeing what we can do.
Amazing. So there's practically no one that you can't help.
Yeah, you're a businessman. They always say, who's your avatar? Who's your customer? And I always say everyone. And people look at me, but everyone is our customer. But the question is, are they happy to pay our prices? Is it a priority for them to do it? And you go and speak to 3 sisters and brothers, and there'll always be one of them going, I don't care, and then there'll be 1 or 2 who says, but this is really important to me. And that's because we're all unique, we're all different. And that's what I love about when we do our stuff.
Tell everyone how they can get in touch with Henley Scan for an inquiry or to give you an order to get all their stuff together.
So we have drop-off in Henley, and we have drop-off in North Basingstoke with one of our staff who comes in very regularly, but she's still happy to have drop-off in our house. So it's by appointment. And we also do get post from all over the UK. So like we get post most weeks. So we have got a website, which is www.henleyscan.co.uk. My email is eva@henleyscan.co.uk. Our home phone number / business home number is 01491 579 103. And we're also on Facebook and Instagram, just Henley Scan. You will find us, and we'd be delighted to have a chat and help.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time, Eva, outlining
Thank you.
the brilliant work you do. To our listeners, please like or subscribe or leave any comments that you have in the comment section below. We'll definitely answer. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.